Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and please don't tease me. Today I thought it would be fun to speak about building. Now I want to make things really clear here. Many simmers are builders and only use the building part of the game. I am in large part a gameplay player and I much prefer the RPG and time management aspects of the game. If you're like me and you're an absolutely hopeless builder, then this video is for you. Now this video is going to be a lot less structured than my gameplay videos because there's a lot to cover and there is no real way to min-max building. You just have to do what you want to do and hope that it looks nice and that it works. That said, there are some tips that have helped me that I hope will help you. I want to make it clear that these tips are for The Sims 4 on the PC and I do not know anything for consoles. So there are a couple of ways that you can get into build mode. You can get into build mode by clicking on the build icon when you're in the world management tool, or from live mode when your sim has moved into a lot. If you're keeping your specific sim's budgets and likes in mind, then the latter is ideal. But for a large-scale renovation project, you can worry about your Sims wants, desires, and budget later. You can also cheat with free real estate, and you should be able to just get whatever you want. You can access the build mode by clicking F2, which opens the objects by room catalog, or F3, which opens the build catalog altogether. Let's talk about camera mode. I don't know how anyone uses the Sims 4 camera mode. Personally, I much prefer the Sims 3 mode because you can adjust your camera angle freely by moving your mouse around while you hold down the middle button of your mouse. You can also switch between camera modes by pressing Ctrl, Shift, and Tab, though again I have no idea why you'd want to go to the Sims 4 camera. The Sims 3 camera is far more precise and allows for much better control. You also need to know about your toolkit. The tools at the top are as follows and can be accessed with the following hotkeys. Select can be accessed with H, Eyedropper, which copies an object, can be accessed with E, Sledgehammer can be accessed with K, this one gets rid of stuff. The Design tool can be accessed with R, and that can change patterns or color. Undo or redo are self-explanatory, but you can also use Ctrl-C and Ctrl-Y, respectively. You can click Save to Library and bulldoze lot from the tool area. You can also change the time of day by clicking L or the little sun icon next to the tools at the very top. So let's talk about walls and rooms. There are so many types of walls and rooms in this game that to go in depth in this video means I would spend the entire time talking about wall types, and I'm not going to do that. But let me quickly touch on rooms. The game automatically recognizes rooms that are within enclosed walls and have floors. If you remove some floor or one wall piece, it is no longer considered a room. You need rooms to build houses in The Sims 4. You can either click a wall tool and drag out walls or use the half wall tool. You can use the room tool to drag squares or triangular rooms. The custom tool allows you to create oddly shaped rooms. Remember, rooms need floors and walls, so if they don't have those, you can use empty spaces for landscaping or as courtyards. To resize a room, click an arrow to push it forward or back. Your furniture will go with it, or if you don't have enough room, it'll go to your inventory. Now let's talk about floors, ceilings, and foundations. Floors will naturally occur when you select a room. Use the select tool and click anywhere on the floor to remove it, or if it doesn't already have it because you're in the second story, use the select tool and click anywhere on the floor to make a room. You don't need to make a floor on the ground level because it'll automatically go on your lot, but if you move a room, the floor will remain there. You can also do this with ceilings. Go up a story and use the select tool to highlight the room and click on build or remove a ceiling for a room. If you want to create a foundation, either grab the arrow in the middle of the room or go to the foundation menu in the build menu and slide it up to create the appropriate level for your build. Okay, but you're wondering how to actually build houses. So now that you know all the buttons, you might be wondering what to do when it comes to actually building the houses. Personally, what I do is go to house planning websites and sort by number of rooms and design. I don't really know how to do some of the more complicated things, so I stick to modern and small. Houseplans.com is my favorite, but there are lots of other websites that can help you with this. I am not sponsored by houseplans.com, though if they want to pay me, by all means do. If you want to base your builds on real life designs, the general rule of thumb is that one full square floor tile or wall is approximately 2 feet in real life. This takes some practice, so play around with it. You're probably going to make bigger rooms than you realize when you first start. Here are some tips for roofing. Brace yourself because this one's going to be harder than you think, and it's going to take a lot longer than you want it to. It's important that you always build with the roof in mind, because if you don't, it's going to be a nightmare to actually place a roof over your house. There are several different types of roof on the game and you should play with them. The most common ones are probably a gable roof, but you can also use a half gable, a hip roof, or a half hip roof. There is no flat roof, but you can use an empty room to create a floor that looks like a roof, then add a floor covering and a wall trim to the outer edge. You want to combine roof pieces in your Sims house. You'll know that suburban roofs are rarely uniform in real life. You can adjust height, change the bow, and extend the eaves. That's the part of the roof that overhangs the wall. If you want to adjust only one side of the roof, you can do that by holding the Shift key when you make the change. You need to vary rooms inside. If you're comfortable with this, you can make the rooms different levels inside, and this is really good if you want to have split levels. This is great for modern kitchens and open room designs in your houses. But also, it can be tricky if you're bad at building like I am, so let me talk you through it. If you manage to make your backyard not be on a foundation, I promise I will be proud of you. Changing up room levels can also help you with adding variety to your interior design. To do this, create a room on a foundation and divide it by a wall. Then use the hammer tool, delete the foundation on one side of the wall, and then just delete the separation wall. Make sure you click on Apply Roof to where you deleted the foundation, so the game detects that it's a room and gives you your ceiling back. Do not try to use roofs before you do this. Trust me, you will thank me later, otherwise this whole thing is a nightmare. Don't ignore wall height. One fun way to create a dynamic home is to make sure that your wall heights are different. You can make wall heights different based on the stories in your household. Remember that you're not able to do this per room, you have to do this per floor. This can really help you create certain types of houses, but as always, play with it. Use clutter. If you want the space your Sims live in to look more, well, lived in, clutter is your best bet. You'll want to turn move objects on. I could probably spend an entire video talking about this cheat, but let me make sure I speak about how it can help you here first. So make sure to bring up the command key with Ctrl Shift and C, then type testing cheats, one word, true, another word, and a space between cheats and true. So that's testing cheats, space, true, in there. Press enter, then type BB move objects on, bb.moveobjects on in there. When this is enabled, your objects don't have to snap to the grid, which is how the Sims keeps track of where things go. You can also move things through walls and just make them more realistic in general and make them look less simmy. I don't really use this cheat because my skill level isn't really high enough for it, but once you get better at building, this is probably where you want to start. This is a more general tip, but you should also be using curtains. I know that the curtains in The Sims can be really bad, but adding curtains along with some other nice decor touches can help your builds feel much more realistic and much more like homes that people live in. Additionally, pops of color can really help, so make sure to use curtains against pops of color to ensure that the house that you're building seems more like a house that people would live in. So I've given you lots of tips and you're probably thinking, great, now I have a handle on building. But you don't, because you have to finish with landscaping. Landscaping is one of the most important things you can do, so don't skimp on it. You might think that once you're done building the house and decorating it inside, you're done with it, but that's not the case. Your house won't feel like it's finished until after you added landscaping. Because The Sims 4 has different environments in which you can build, you might not be sure which plants to use. You can look around your neighborhood to see which plants are around you and use those for inspiration. You can use them for color and for type of plant. When you're landscaping your Sims home, remember that you can rotate the same plants to make them look slightly different, so you don't have to go wild. You can just use a couple of plants and that's going to do a lot of work for you. Don't forget about your Sims. I see a lot of this when people build, and it's honestly a huge pet peeve of mine. Because I spend most of my time actually playing the game rather than building in the game, I tend to forget that a lot of players are mostly just builders, which means they barely go into the live mode or live mode, depending on who you ask. The problem, of course, is that those players seem to forget about players like me. Frequently, when I download something from the gallery, I have to go in and make sure that it's a livable place for my Sims and I can actually fulfill my Sims' needs. So I urge you to consider this when you're building a house. I don't just mean pathing, though obviously that's very important. I mean, which household are you building this for? Remember to place things like an inside trash can, an outside trash can, a fridge, a toilet, an oven, and enough beds in it to make sure that your Sims can live happy and fulfilled lives and that they won't die because you're not able to fulfill their needs. Go ahead and use cheats. Now I won't mention every cheat here because I don't know them, but there are lots of cheats which are ideal for building, and I'll make a list of them in the description below. Again, because I'm such a noob at building, I will never use these, but I expect that you might like to if you want to play with just the building part of the game. So before I head out, I want to thank every one of my subscribers. Thank you so much to everyone who entered the giveaway. If you like this, please like, subscribe, and please don't tease me. And then let me know what you think about building in the comments. Bye! Remember, please don't tease me. Bye!